All right, guys, we're back again. COVID Cabal. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we had COVID Cabal. We had the holidays. We just had so much going on, guys. It's been such a busy time. It's been such a busy time. And we should only have one more COVID Cabal. Guys, this we're okay. Let me finish my sentence. We're gonna have more than one COVID Cabal, but we may only have one more COVID Cabal here. We may only have one more COVID Cabal in the classic room, the classic study. We may not have COVID Cabal. Might be on second to last COVID Cabal. I think tomorrow we got a dynamic man. We got another COVID Cabal the next Monday. That's it. That's it. That is if I get my passport. I'm gonna tell you guys something before we get into this. I'm gonna tell you guys. They're trying to keep a good man down. They're trying to keep a good man down. And so, as a good man, I had to pop open the Santa Emilion Grand Cru. Haven't had it yet. 2014, not a great year, to be honest. I know it's not a great year. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. It was what they had on sale. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it's a little cold, to be honest. I think it could open up more. I'm not it needs to open up a little bit more. Guys, why am I drinking this? It's not because it's celebration, okay? I don't have champagne. When I say they're trying to keep a good man down, what I'm saying is that they're not giving me my fucking passport. They're not giving me my fucking passport. And this is what it's like. I'm just going to tell you guys, this is what it's like being a J6er. And I'm a fortunate man. I've got a positive attitude towards life, you know what I mean? Like I'm not, it is what it is. Everything will get sorted out. I'm certainly more fortunate than many people in my company. But they're not giving me my fucking passport. They're pretending expedited passport like a month and a half ago. They're pretending they didn't have it. It's U.S. State Department. Now, it's not Trump. This is some bureaucrat up in New Hampshire, I think. Inevitably some shitlib who found out that I was a J6er and is not processing it just to be petty. So I got to work my ass off. I got a good people on it from multiple different angles. So we're going to get it sorted out. But guys, I'm 8 days from my flight. It's stressful. You know what I mean? It's stressful. At the end of the day, though, this is all they got. Like I just want to tell you guys, like from a mindset perspective, this is stressful. It's frustrating. But man, would I be happy to have this problem a year ago? And yeah, a year ago even, because remember a year ago, I was going to DC for my resentencing on the 19th. So everything is perspective. And oh man, my neck hurts. Oh man, I didn't have a chance to move around enough today. Everything's perspective, guys. But they're still at it. They're gonna try to make life miserable for you however they can. And that's the way it is. I'm gonna tell you something, Fox. I am not claiming refugee status in the EU. And I gotta be honest, guys, like I'm a little like we're gonna get into this in the show. Like I'm a little like apprehensive. I mean, it's Poland. Like I love Poland. I got no beef with Poland, fundamentally. I'm not big on the prime minister, obviously. Donald Tusk is EU. I mean, he literally was head of the EU Commission, right? But the president of Poland, Nawrocki, is very aligned with Trump. The president can block legislation. He can't create legislation, but he's in charge of the armed forces. He blocks legislation. It's a significant. I think Poland is, if Nawrocki had not won the Polish election, I would start to be worried. But Nawrocki having the presidency acts as like a check to them in Poland, including the fact that the population themselves is they have a tenuous sort of standing with the population. Um, you know, they don't have time to boil Poland, the frog, properly. They don't have that kind of time. So Poland is kind of like, I feel like Poland is kind of like a neutral mark on the board right now. But you have Hungary, you have Slovakia, you have the Czech Republic. You have Italy. Okay. You have a lot of Southern and Eastern Europe are basically up against the EU more and more. And this is what you can start to see happening now, right? You see Orban himself like saying that we need to dissolve the EU. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Is this it? The Czech government announces an immediate showdown with Brussels over the migration pact, Ukraine funding, because the EU is trying to push these massive new measures for migration where you have to pay all this money if you're not going to accept migrants. Or you have to, it's like massive, massive fines. So we're kind of in this like situation now where you can see everything coming together. This war is going to kick off, guys. This war is about to kick off. Like, I don't think people like fully appreciate it. This war is about to kick off. And the war was not Russia versus the United States. The war is Russia. The war is the United States and Russia versus the EU and the Commonwealth. That's what's going on right now. That's the fight. That's why Rubio is not in. The U.S. is not at the NATO summit. The U.S. foreign policy paper they put on, and man, I don't know why I didn't bookmark this, but what they essentially said is that within 20 years, Europe risks civilizational erasure. It will cease to be a European country which will not have Western values and cannot be depended upon. It points out the fact that the EU's GDP is basically declining, not growing, falling behind the world. And you can see this on the charts. It's crazy. Since 2008, US and EU are like on pace. After that, it's amazing. These areas, they've all completely slowed down. And so this is what we're really dealing with right now. We're dealing with these countries. Oh, man, I'm so fucked up, man. Back is so fucked up. I apologize. Ugh. It's a shitty chair, to be honest. I can't wait to get out of this fucking study. We are literally in like everything that we've been talking about all this time, all these years, it's coming to pass. It's coming to pass now. Let me show you something about the EU right here. This to me was so interesting because they always do this kind of symbology. The statue is in front of EU headquarters. It's based on Greek mythology where a woman named Europa is kidnapped and raped by a foreign god. This is the EU symbol, the rape of Europe. The rape of Europe. That's where we're at right now. That's what's happening. So I have to be honest, like, even though I feel pretty safe in Poland, I'm less concerned about some caliber missile blowing up Lublin, although it is on the eastern border. I'm more concerned with the European Union going after me for free speech was the last fucking thing I want. I'm so done with people messing with my speech. I'm so done with it. But this is our situation. Things are coming to a head. Europe is now being overtly hostile to the United States and to X. They're fining X because X will not censor free speech. And the result, of course, has been that more people than ever are actually joining X. Across Europe, it's become the #1 downloaded app. This stuff is not going to work out well for them. But we are starting to see the dividing lines. And I really want to say this. This is an important thing for me to say to my, my fellow Europeans. Okay, I'm going to say my fellow Europeans. Look at that. You guys got to get over this arrogance. And I don't mean that you don't have anything to be proud of. I don't like this kind of I don't like the sort of like, you know, Europe is like high culture place. Even still today, it is. It's a beautiful continent. And as much of an American nationalist as I am, I've always said this. It's easier for me to move to Europe than it is for me to move outside the northeastern US. Like in many ways, I'm a snob. It's a complicated feeling. I don't know how to say it. I absolutely love the American people. I love this country. I don't think I even have to say that. I proved it. My actions. But in many ways, I identify more with a European, the culture of Europe. I think that's what it is. There's just a sophistication to Europe that I identify with. Even the non-sophisticated parts of Europe, there's a different way of operating, and I'm always going to be an American chauvinist, but I love Europe. I have a deep love of Europe. It's not a surprise that I married a European. It's not a surprise. It makes perfect sense. And in many ways, I am an internationally minded person, but I'm an internationalist, let's say, with deep love of my own country. I guess if you could say anything about me, I would consider myself en route to be American aristocracy. Noblesse oblige is how I view things. So I say this stuff with a very deep love of Europe and with a real clear sense that Europe has a lot to be proud of. But there's like a slave morality kind of aspect to Europeans today. I think a lot of even people on the right, they're condescending towards the average American. And, what we should really be doing, whether you're an American, whether you're in the Commonwealth, whether you're in Europe, what you should be doing is you should be looking at everybody else, other countries, and you could say, what are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? There should be this respect. Should be this appreciation, the sense that we're all in it together. We're different, but we're all in it together. And unfortunately, a lot of Europeans, the European left, like they've got their heads so far up their fucking ass, it's impossible for them to even breathe. They are the stupidest fucking people on the planet. Truly, truly the stupidest. Even like the American left has more going for them than the European left. The European left are truly the most pathetic people, totally fucking retarded. But I'm not concerned with them. You know what I mean? I might as well just, go to some facility for disabled adults and, try to talk to them about how to run a country. But the European right has this snootiness, and they really need to and it's a victim snootiness. Like it is like a slave morality when it comes to the United States. And they got to get over it. They got to get over it. You guys are run. We're not controlling you. Your elites were controlling us. And I'll accept a compromise if you say that they're all globalist elites. I'll accept that compromise. But they didn't come from America. They came from Europe. They might be generations old in America at this point, but they didn't come from America. They came from Britain, and they came from continental Europe, Western Europe. And they have taken over your countries, and they hate you, and we're not your enemy, and you should need to drop a lot of this ego around stuff. You gotta drop the ego. We gotta work together here. We gotta work together. Europe's not going to make it out without America, and they're not going to make it even if they get saved from this whole thing. They're not going to be able to build a future if they can't get over this attitude. I'm going to tell you the big problem with Europe right now. The big problem with Europe right now is that it has no vision of the future. You can say what you want about America, but America, for most of the last century, it's been like a very small blip, but Elon and Trump are bringing it back. Oh man, my fucking back. Speaking of bringing it back, we, them, they, pronouns, we see a future that we want to build to, right? And, you know, there's conversations about what kind of future we want to build, fair enough. But there's a sense in America still that, at least among some of its elite, that we're going to build someplace. We're going to go someplace. I have no idea where Europe wants to go. Everything that everybody values about Europe is old. And you need to have love of your past. You need to have respect for your past. You need to cherish your past. But you also need to have a vision for the future. Europe's dying because it has no direction. The entire West is dying because it has no direction. But the Western countries that have the least direction are the ones that are dying the most. That's what's happening. Because you need to learn to live for something. If you don't have anything to live for, why would you procreate? Why would you have children if you don't think there is a future? I don't know what the fuck Europe wants for its future. Even the squabbles that they care about are in the past. You care about the fucking Donbass? That's what you care about? You care about the Donbass. That's your focus. That's your big obsession. I mean, there's just no... These people are incredibly sneaky and manipulative and intelligent until you find out what they're doing, and they're fucking retarded. They have no ability to think in the outside the box. There's no vision whatsoever. This is important because the war is really a Western civil war. That's what's happening. We have a Western civil war on our hands. And so as America is attacking now, you see it right as our literal Undersecretary of State, Sarah Roberts, base girl, by the way. Hope she can get me my passport. Sarah Roberts, can I get my passport, please? Actually, might send her a DM. Maybe she can do something. Why not? Shoot your shot, right? Look at this. This is what's going on in European courts. They're sentencing people to longer prison sentences than rapists because people insult the rapists. It's going on all across the UK, Germany, France, Belgium, Sweden. Those are all the worst offenders, right? Netherlands, Ireland. But what's significant is not that they're doing this, because we've known they've been doing this. What's significant is now the Undersecretary of State, and right after this, she did a video saying, I have a diplomatic passport, so I can say these things. You can't. We are essentially at war with the European Union and the Commonwealth. That's what's happened. And that's why we're at Venezuela. People don't understand, oh, why are we going after Venezuela? We're going after Venezuela because Venezuela is an asymmetrical attack on the cabal. Because Venezuela is the hub of narco trafficking, where they make their money. A. B. Venezuela is where Smartmatic was based. Remember, Dominion software was sold recently on a fire sale. Everybody like looks at this kind of stuff and they're like, why are we going after Venezuela? Oh, America, we just get involved in stupid conflicts again. No. Venezuela is hitting them where it hurts. And it's part of the bigger battle strategy. Things are going to kick off in the States at the end of Q1 next year. And I'm going to tell you, you can expect the indictments. I'm not saying it's going to be every single one of these, but I'll be very shocked if we don't get Clinton or Obama or both. We're going to start to get some serious arrests. Everything is leading up to it. You may not want to believe it. You may say nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens until it happens. Director Patel confirms that Comey, Brennan, Clapper conspired with operatives from overseas, i.e. British intelligence, in their anti-Trump operations. This is the FBI director saying this. Previously, I gave evidence to Durham investigation that Christopher Steele, whose boss is Richard Dearlove, former head of British MI6, Dearlove's friend and business partner, Stephen Halper, CIA, MI6, chief FBI informer on Crossfire Hurricane, Christopher Andrews, my former professor at Cambridge, who recently confessed to be an officer at British MI5, all conspired to help Comey, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, McLaughlin, and company in their anti-Trump operations. Also involved Regina Haspel, head of CIA London desk, and Alan Kohler, FBI representative in London. Okay? This is the stuff that's coming out. Oh, nothing's happened yet. Nothing's ever happens. What do you like? It takes like 10 months to impanel a grand jury of this scale. You get a grand jury. I sat in grand jury. All right, I'm going to tell you guys something. Can I tell you guys something for a second? Okay. So when you're on a grand jury, I was on a grand jury for a month. Okay. I was on a grand jury for a month in New York City. Served 4 hours a day for 1 month. Most of the cases you get, and this is obviously a city grand jury, but very similar with the federal grand jury. Most of the cases you get random little one-off things. We had one case, some plastic surgeon, some guy, didn't have a proper license, fucking up people, 20% of women getting like, it's the kind of, I don't remember the details, like kind of like, cement in your butt cheeks kind of thing, trying to get a Brazilian ass lift. You get like, some disfiguring, fucking disgusting thing. He doesn't have a license. Okay. Point is that case alone, we were coming back over half of that entire grand jury, like three of the 4 weeks of that grand jury, I'm pretty sure. That case was like half the time. We'd have more witnesses, more things coming out. Okay, so here's the perspective here. Some like crank doctor doing bad plastic surgery. It took almost a month of almost everyday stuff coming in for us to be able to indict him. For the government to finish presenting their evidence. Okay, think about that for a second. So you're saying when it comes to seditious conspiracy, all this stuff, all the details, all the complexity with the stolen 2020 election, with all the fuckery with Russiagate, everything, you're saying that should just be done automatically? You have to go through the legal process. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't expect the legal process to work. This is where I have very few disagreements with Tom Luongo. I will say again, Tom Luongo is probably like, I think he's probably the greatest geopolitical thinker today. I really think he is. I think that there is nobody out there who is honest, who understands the financial markets and and also understands the geopolitics and has the character and the competency in the 2 core areas to connect it all. I got 2 out of 3. I don't have the financial market competency. And honestly, I don't have, at this point in time, I don't even have the scale of information that he has. That's a thing that grows exponentially as you are spending all your time looking at this stuff. I mean, I don't have the time to spend all day reading article after article after article. But what I'll say is this. I'm like 95% with Luongo on things. Everything he says makes sense, and he's taking a victory lap right now because literally everything he's predicted is coming true. You can see it. What I want to say though, here's something that I disagree with him on. Here's the thing I disagree with him on. I disagree with him on Q, because every single thing that he's saying, he'll say Q's a fucking psyop. It is a psyop. We all understand that it's a I mean, you should understand it's a psyop. You should absolutely understand it's a military intelligence operation. But how are you supposed to think it's a negative military intelligence operation at this point in time? Because everything it's saying is also coming to pass. It's dovetailing with everything that Luongo's saying. And what I want to emphasize here is this. Comey got off, didn't he? They can re-indict him, but he got off on technicalities. How are you supposed to actually take down this government through a captured FBI and justice system? Let's look at the pipe bomber, right? Let's look at some of the pipe bomber stuff. I mean, let me see if I can bring some of this stuff up. Trump is not particularly I want to get this up here. Trump is not particularly bullish about all this stuff himself. Sorry about this nonsense. Gotta find it. Okay. J6 pipe bomber went unidentified for 5 years. No idea who it was. Then a private investigator identified a U.S. Capitol police officer that is now at the CIA as being the suspect. Now, a couple weeks later, magically, they found the real J6 pipe bomber that has no connections to the government, just a local bail bondsman. Okay. And that guy submitted his plea without a lawyer. None of this stuff is like buyable. Nobody in the J6 community buys it. And you know, I don't know what to say about the FBI. Is there some deal made that they will help Trump take down the British connection, but none of the domestic guys, none of the bad actors domestically are going to be able to get taken out? I don't know what the deal is. I don't like it. I don't like it. But I'm telling you this. I don't think we're ever going to get full justice through the justice system. I don't think it's possible. How is it possible when you have judges responsible for these verdicts? You have either DC juries in compromised locations, or you have very, very sympathetic judges who are involved in the conspiracy. The only way to deal with this is going to be the military. I think, and it's going to be the military, not only because of these reasons, but because the Insurrection Act is going to involve the military anyway. And you see right now, Trump, Miller, they are calling for people to be involved as JAG officers or as military courts. Now, a lot of this stuff, military judges, and a lot of the stuff has to do with illegals. I understand this. But the infrastructure is being set up for literally a massive Nuremberg trial. And you notice at the same time, all the stuff I'm talking about right now, as I'm talking about this, all the stuff with the vaccine stuff is like pouring out all of a sudden. Everything's coming to a head as we get to the end of the year. All the rot, all the corruption, it's all coming out, all coming to a head. So you're seeing the battle lines drawn. Everybody who wants this direct fight, they're going to get it. They're going to get it next year. The stars say. Stars are aligning. It's going to happen next year. And Trump is in a better position to be too cautious than he is to be too reckless. Because all that happens politically, if the people want more action, all he has to do is give them more action, and he's great. But if you overstep, it's hard for you to repair that. He's better at managing tension than any of these fucking losers in the commentariat that cannot stop. They cannot handle the tension of this moment. And that's their problem. I'm going to tell you guys, you're going to have to be prepared for a lot more tension in the future. You're going to have to be prepared for a lot more tension in a lot more difficult situations. Because the solutions to all the problems we face are not going to happen smoothly. There's going to be a lot of moral gray area and a lot of very, very harsh measures taken because of all the bad faith that we've experienced. It means people like Somalians who loot and steal and contribute nothing to any country. I'll stand by this. I say it every time we get on this topic. If you're an immigrant, you came to these countries, you assimilated, you love your new country, you identify with it, you contribute to its tax base. I genuinely don't think anything is going to happen to you, and I hope it won't. And I'll be the first person to back you up. It's easy to back you up because there's not a lot of you. Unfortunately, you're there. I know a bunch of you. You're not the majority. 80% in Europe are going to go back. They're going to go back. Nobody can rationalize it. They can't, and especially with AI, you don't think that they're going to be able to figure out this kind of stuff. There's positive and negative uses of all these things, but I'm just saying, like, you're going to have to stiffen your spine. You're going to have to stop being a hysterical little woman. I'm not saying you guys, but a lot of these commentariat people, they want it to happen now. It needs to happen now. It needs to happen now. It's happening exactly as it's meant to happen. And the people who are doing this, you don't think Trump knows? Trump doesn't know. They're not going to kill me if I don't act against them. He's going to take them out. You can hear it. Just waiting for his moment. What city do we want the trials in? Let's answer some questions here. Honestly, ooh, that's a good one. It should be in the eastern US. I think it should be in the DC area. Not DC itself, but it should be in the DC area. I mean, like the Bethesda trials. Reminds me of the boomers longing about the good old days and grumbling that anything at all has changed, and the kids these days, no future women, just wants the past. Well, the boomers didn't even want to preserve the past. The boomers don't even understand what they did. I mean, truly, I'm a dating relationship coach, but I'm not doing COVID cabal. I'm a dating relationship coach. I've been recently reading Nancy Friday's famous book about female sexual fantasies. And what's actually more interesting to me than the female sexual fantasies is the attitude of the people at the time, and how you could see they had this like really functioning society and everybody wanted to get out of it. That's what's really interesting. And I don't want to like generalize the handful of degenerate women who sent their fantasies into this random woman. But I do think that there's, and I know that propaganda caused this whole stuff to actually happen. It was a psyop, but I think that there was something that started to happen where you can see like things were just so stable that people wanted to have their freedom to do whatever they wanted. It almost felt like the ones who were holding down the fort resented that they had to hold down the fort. And the ones who had their opportunity to be libertine, they kind of felt like they had their cake and eat it too. That was the boomer generation. Have your cake and eat it too. But everything that they ate, they built this like fire of lust and greed. And they just basically tore out the foundation of everything that they were on and burned it. They stopped trying to find new wood. They stopped trying to move forward. So, I mean, it's kind of it. You know what I mean? That's kind of it. So things are going to heat up. by the end, I don't know if we're gonna see a direct declaration of war, so to speak, but Trump administration clearly views the government, the EU, and the governments in Western Europe as being enemies of Western civilization, and they are. So where's that going to lead? Where's that going to go? What are they going to do? How are they going to get NATO into a war when Trump won't even attend the NATO summit? It's going to truly interesting times, guys. Let's see what happens in the next week. But I love you all. It's going to be a wild ride. Things are going to get crazy. They're going to get crazy. Don't expect craziness, and expect to get through it, because you're going to get through it. That's our attitude. We have a lot of work to do. This is our time. Our reason to be here. Most of you guys watching this stream, our era is the next 20 years. The last 10 years have been preparation for the next 20. This is our little zone. We're the bridge. Latter half of the 2040s is a different age. We can't even see it. We can't even perceive it. But our issue right now is to preserve the society, preserve civilization best we can. It's going to be a lot of work. I hope you're ready for it. I certainly am. And I will see you on the next COVID Cabal. It is absolutely the first war. This is a war that's worth fighting for. It's a good war. It's a just war. Feels good, to be honest. Love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow for Dynamic Man, all right? We got a good show tomorrow. Take care, guys.